Hi everyone, welcome to the Wednesday morning chat about anything and everything to do with your sleeve gastrectomy. My name is Zoe if you haven't met me before. What I want to talk about today is the fluids phase. So this is the first sort of initial few days or few weeks after your surgery. In our clinic we do the fluids phase for 2 weeks. And know it varies a lot between different clinics. Some will only do the fluids phase for, say for example, 3 or 4 or 5 days and then move on to purees, but our surgeons really prefer to be safe rather than sorry, so they make us, all of our patients, do 2 weeks of fluids before moving on to the purees. So I guess the thing with the fluids is kind of understanding why you need to do it helps you to stick with it. With a sleeve, what's happened is you've gone from having like a big sac for a stomach to having a little pipe. Because of the wound down here, everything is kind of swollen shut. So if you try and eat something, it will feel like it's just going to sit right here at the top of your stomach, and that will make you feel really uncomfortable, perhaps make you bring up your food, and that will put too much pressure on the wound and increase your risk of complications, something like a leak. So it is really important to stick with the fluids after the surgery. I cannot stress this enough. However long your surgeon wants you to do the fluids phase for, stick to that to the day, all right? For the fluids, what is a fluid? I know it's a weird kind of concept, but really how we define fluids in our clinic is by saying that anything that is smooth and thin enough to go through a straw. Okay, as long as there are no lumps, it's not fizzy, and it's not alcohol, you can have anything that is smooth and thin enough to go through a straw. Alright, so how, I guess then, really let's talk about what that kind of means and what the types of things you need to be drinking. But before we talk about what types of things you need to be drinking, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a rundown on what happens after the surgery. Normally we will keep people in hospital for 3 or 4 days, so the nurses normally start to help you, they help you to start drinking. It'll be very, very slow to start with, so you'll probably only manage about 50 mils or like a shot glass in half an hour, and it's more like just sort of sucking on ice chips. The surgeons would normally try and get you onto all sorts of fluids pretty quickly, but you just won't be able to sip it very fast. We're just waiting for that swelling to go down before you're able to start drinking a little bit more at a time. So as that swelling goes down, by about day 10, so you're well and truly home by now, by about day 10 you should be able to drink about a cup in half an hour. And that cup in half an hour is actually really important because long term we want you to be eating about a cup of food and taking 20 to 30 minutes to eat it. So if you can start practicing 1 cup half an hour, 1 cup half an hour from the get-go, it just makes it easier to adjust to it later on. Okay, so what should you be drinking? There's two main things that I really try and encourage my patients to concentrate on. The first one is protein, because we need protein for healing, and the second one is the total amount of fluid that you're eating that you're drinking over the day, and that's just to keep you hydrated. So what we encourage people to do is still think about having breakfast, lunch and dinner, even though they're fluids, and at breakfast, lunch and dinner have a protein containing drink. Okay, so that might be something like, the best option is still sticking with your VLCD, something like OptiFast or OptiSlim VLCD, but you can also have milk or another protein drink now, maybe a drinking yogurt, or even something like an Up and Go if you like, depending on what sort of suits you and what agrees with you at the time. So 3 of those, and then anything else to make up another sort of 1.25 litres to get to the 2 litres total. So I don't actually mind if you have a bit of diluted fruit juice, you have veggie juice, you have soups that you strain all the bits out of, maybe you have water, diet cordial, tea, coffee, something like a hydrolyte or a Gastrectomy or Powerade Zero. Some people use electrolyte tablets like High Five or Nun, which are designed for sports, and any of those is fine. The key really is just to be sipping constantly throughout the day so that you can try and get up to those 2 litres. It's a really hard task, and when people come in to me at their 2-week appointment and they say that they have made it up to 2 litres, I'm always really impressed, but it's a goal to shoot for. It's also important just to note that water often feels really heavy and quite hard to drink. Some people say it feels like they're swallowing like a little lump of cement. It has to do with the surface tension of the water. So if you put a little bit of flavour in there, it changes the surface tension and it just makes it much easier to drink. So one of the things that people use, I'll just grab it. Things that people have been using lately are like these little diet cordial drops, like LQD or Pump. Powerade have some, and Cotty's cordial have some as well. And all you do is put like a little bit of a squeeze, a few drops in a bottle of water, and it just flavours it, makes it much easier to drink. And they're great because you don't need to carry around a big bottle of cordial with you. They can just pop in your bag. The only other things I want you to think about is supplements. So I want you to keep going with the fibre that you should have been taking when you were on the VLCD, on the Optifast before the surgery. The ones that we like to use is Benny Fibre. It's clear and it's tasteless, so you can just put it in your any of your drinks throughout the day. I'll grab you that one so you can see too. There you go. And the only other thing is I need you to start taking a multivitamin. So ideally you would have something like the BN Multi, the chewable, which is this one here. That one there. That's available online. It's one of the only Australian bariatric multivitamins. There is another one called NutriChew if you wanted to try that one as well. The other options is a liquid, so if worst comes to worst, I'm happy for people just to take something like Barocca Performance or Supradin for the first couple of weeks, but we'll fix that up a bit later on. Just dilute it and let it go flat before you drink it. The other option is Healthy Essentials make a liquid, and that's fabulous. Again, you need to order that one online. There's a men's and a women's multivitamin. It's liquid, but it's perfect because you only need 10 mils as a serve, so it's really, really small. It's really concentrated. So hopefully you've got a bit of an understanding now. I'll just do a little bit of a recap. The main things to focus on are smooth liquids that you can have through a straw, nothing lumpy, nothing fizzy, and no alcohol. 3 times a day I want you to have some protein in a drink and a total of 2 litres of fluid over the day if you can. Also adding in your fibre supplement and your multivitamin once a day as well. Okay, so if you'd like more, I actually have a pre-op checklist, top 10 tips for living with a sleeve, and some great lunch ideas for later on. And you can always, they're available at my website at livingwithasleeve.com, and you can always sign up to join the newsletter just on the right hand side of any of those blog posts, and in the footer on my website you can sign up to join the newsletter. I only send one out once a month, but it can be a good way just to keep in touch with what's going on. I don't want to bombard your email too much, but if you have any questions, please just reply, pop a comment on this post, send me an email if you'd like, pop an inquiry on the forum, the Q&A forum on my website. That's livingwithasleeve.com. And I'm more than happy to answer them, and look, I'd be happy to cover it in a Facebook Live post coming up as well. I'll be back on next week on Wednesday as always, so until then, thanks so much for joining me and I will chat with you soon. Cheers guys, bye!